Hello, welcome to another episode of Seeking Mount Parnassus. I am the poet formerly known as Derek.
And I'm Katana.
If I could teach the world to be a thug in harmony, if I could teach the world to be a thugster just like me.
You never know what song's going to pop out.
Do you love Bone Thugs and Harmony? I heard that Stephen Forrest loves Bone Thugs and Harmony. That's why I started singing that right now. That's what I heard through the grapevine. If I could teach the world to be a thug in harmony.
I mean, the harmony part is good.
If I could teach the world. I'm just kidding. Sorry, I'm all whacked out. We watched a documentary about Harry Houdini, and it gave me a lot of Aries energy. He has like every planet in Aries, and it shows.
Yeah, indeed.
We also found out by anger and frustration that I'm Aquarius rising, and my entire birth chart's different than it was.
I mean, it's entirely different in the sense of the placements, the house placements.
Yeah, all the houses have changed.
Because of the time, because we did not have a verified time. We took the time from your mom or memory, and then we actually went to the Bureau of Vital Statistics in Santa Fe, and they gave us a time that was on record.
Yes.
That was different than the time that we had by about 4 hours.
Yes.
Which then moved the chart to Aquarius rising and moved your planets to different houses, prompted by you're not feeling like it was right.
What prompted the feeling was we did an interview with Stephen Forrest last week, an astrological interview. It was our first interview we've done on this podcast. We had no intention of having a interview show, but we had an interview with Stephen Forrest, who is an astrologer, and we talked about our planets and our birth chart a little bit. And in my previous iteration of the birth chart, I had a 12th house Sun, 12th house North Node, 12th house Jupiter in Aries, and Mercury in Pisces into the 12th. I had all these 12th house business going on. So knowing that, Stephen Forrest suggested that I should go sit on a mountaintop, which caused me to be pissed because I don't want to sit on a mountaintop alone. I don't want to do that.
No.
So I was like, I don't like this. I don't want to go sit on a mountaintop alone. It doesn't feel right. So it prompted us to just go directly to the vital statistics and get the physical birth. What is it called?
Certificate.
Birth certificate. And then on there it said that I was born at 3:35 a.m., not 7:28 a.m. So now I have a second house Sun and nothing in the 12th house. My whole life has changed. I have no clue who I am. I've lost my identity. I'm just blowing in the wind.
Yeah, I mean, which is interesting because it raised somebody we were talking to made this comment about, well, skeptics of astrology would say, like, you're just influenced by whatever people tell you. And that just proves that astrology doesn't work, or I don't know, that it's like implied.
Have you ever held a skeptic's head underwater? How long do you think a skeptic can hold their breath? Harry Houdini could hold his breath for like 3 minutes.
Yeah, at least. I mean, yeah, I don't know if we want to go down that road, but it does change. It changes something, but then it also is more accurate and it feels more right. And I think that you intuitively knew something was off. But then there's this other thing that we think about and talk about of like, why not have the information when we did?
Right.
And there must have been something that you needed to see or learn from the previous iteration of the chart. I mean, you said it really beautifully in the conversation with Stephen Forrest that once you start talking to it, it starts talking to you.
That's true.
And that's true about everything in the universe. So astrology is the same way. And I've had so many experiences like that where I didn't see something, or I had once I had run my mom's chart and I had accidentally entered the wrong year and I didn't even notice it for like a year.
Oh my.
And I kept looking at the chart going, this doesn't seem right. It's just not. And I couldn't engage with it. And then I finally spotted the error, redid it, and was like, oh, all right. I understand. Yes. But why? Why was I not able to see my mom's correct chart?
For a whole year.
Yeah, for a whole year. You know, the timing of it. There was a reason behind the timing of it.
I think so.
I mean, why did we not even get into astrology until we did? We were talking about that too.
35. You were, how old were you?
I don't
38?
know, 39. Yeah.
39. Oh man, on the verge of being a supple cougar at that time. 39. Dear God. I don't know if you've ever been out in the public, out in the world, but it might be dangerous. That's my experience.
Yeah, but just the information coming. But I do think it's an important thing to question everything. Of course, obviously, that's part of our whole ethos.
Right.
And the fact that what Stephen Forrest said didn't sit right. Excuse me. Didn't sit right with you.
No, it made me feel like throwing a tantrum and crying and pulling my little tiny hairs out, pulling my eyebrow hairs out.
Yeah. So the fact that you're willing to question, you weren't just taking it in as, well, Stephen Forrest is the guru, so I have to, whatever he says is right, even though obviously he doesn't know anything about your time and the veracity of it. I mean, he didn't really make a mistake per se.
No,
I mean, that could be an accurate interpretation of a 12th house North Node.
Right.
You just don't have one.
Right. Yeah. There was nothing wrong with anything that he had to say. Actually, it was just the feeling that it gave me because it didn't feel right. It felt like I could feel the feeling of me going to sit on a mountain made me feel bad. So that was the impetus to something, which I think this happens actually a lot in life. People just ignore it, you know. The guru, the teacher, the fucking doctor, whoever is like, you have fibromyalgia.
Right.
And you're like, oh, God, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I do.
Right.
But then they say, you have fibromyalgia. You should just lay on the ground for the next 40 years and collect Social Security benefits.
Right.
Like, but I don't want to lay on the ground, sir. I don't feel right.
Right. Yeah. And which is about the whole way of thinking of having authorities of any kind, really. And yeah, I mean, the interview with Stephen was an accident. It came about
total accident
without us trying at all to make that happen.
No.
And so we felt like, okay, the universe is giving us something and making this happen, so let's do it. And it was good. I'm glad that we did. And
yeah, me too.
I think it exposed new people to the podcast, which is excellent.
I love it too when we expose ourselves.
But, you know, we're not Stephen Forrest clones. And he said, it was interesting because he said the school is designed to create Stephen Forrest clones. But he also said that he wants his students to go forth and continue their studies and explorations and experimentation and things like that.
Right.
And that's what I did. There are more levels to the school than the apprenticeship program. There's master levels, and I considered doing that and decided not to because I started to feel like, all right, I kind of understand Stephen Forrest's worldview. I kind of get his system. I've got the basics. I know I have the tools.
Right.
I don't actually want to be indoctrinated. I don't want to be a Stephen Forrest clone. What's the point of that? Especially going into an Aquarian age, we need new ideas and new perspectives. Yeah. And I felt like that's been a story for me my whole life. I mean, similar experience going on recently with riding, horseback riding.
Oh, yeah.
Lessons. And this also connects to the whole generational thing we've been talking about.
Oh, yeah. Pluto and Leo. What happened? Yeah. Why? Why did you do this to us, Pluto and Leo? Fucked us. It's rude, man. Jesus. You had 50 years to make it happen, and you're like, oh, actually, I'm just going to collect Social Security. You guys are fucked. Good luck. I'm going to be in my 300-acre ranch. Have fun. Hopefully you can pay me to do some shit. Right. I'm 200 years old. I'm never going to let go. I'm never letting go of my material possessions, ever. Yeah. Until I die suddenly. Yeah. Uh-oh. Right. Shit. Next lifetime.
Pluto and Leo is the baby boomers.
The baby boomers, yeah.
I don't know the precise years, but I know it includes most of the 50s, late 40s, and most of the 50s are Pluto and Leo. generation, and that generation is now in their 70s mostly, and they're still holding on,
clutching on,
and running everything. So it's just been interesting for us. We keep having encounters with people of that age. Oh yeah, so the riding, similar thing. I went and took some horseback riding lessons after not taking lessons for 4 years and just doing my own training with my own horses. And I had taken, I don't know, got probably 15 years in my total life of steady, consistent instruction and training from other people.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just Aquarius. You're Aquarius rising, and I have Uranus conjunct the sun.
Yeah.
It gets to a certain point where we want to be free and to create our own way of doing things and to trust our own way of doing things. And I think that's partly what the Aquarian time, this Pluto and Aquarius, and then all these other planets right now, is about. I mean, how are we going to come up with new ways and new approaches? The only way to do it is to break out of the old system,
right,
and experiment. And I think that maybe it's ironic or maybe it's predictable that the baby boomers think of themselves so much as this revolutionary generation because of the 60s and 70s, but then they've become the old guard at this point. You know, they're the tradition keepers, and they're the ones that are keeping the current system in place at this point.
Right.
Whether they would say that about themselves or not, that is what's happening.
Seems like it. Yeah, we got to go outside and interact in the world, and it's I don't know who's in charge. Somebody.
Somebody in their 70s, perhaps.
Yeah, the wheels of government are ran mostly by younger people, but the heads, the heads of all these things are probably in their 70s or so, 60, 70, 80, 90, unwilling to change, unwilling to let go. They spent 50, 40, 30 years dedicating their entire lives to the financial system, building up a nest egg. Do you remember this thought? If you just build a nest egg, when you're 65 years old, you'll take your little nest egg and you'll have enough money to live till you die. And that's why you should work. You should work from age 18 until you're 65 years old, create yourself a nest egg, which actually just means money, and then use that little nest egg to live for the next, it used to be not that long. Yeah. Now it's like, okay, now you got 40 more fucking years you got to live after age 65 on your nest egg. Hopefully you've created a nest egg. This is bullshit. This is fucked up. This is not, I'm not going to spend 40 years digging trenches or installing vanity lights in people's bathroom remodels for 40 more years. Hell no, I'm not doing that to create numbers on a screen that equal out to be a nest egg for me to not have to work, blah, blah, blah. This is over. It's over. I'm sorry, and that people don't know it's over. Right. But it's over. Right. I mean, no one's doing this. People aren't doing this anymore. Yesterday, we were at the co-op. I had to leave the co-op because I couldn't take the energy of it. It's killing me. So I went outside and I sat in a chair in the sun, and I watched all the co-op shoppers go into the place. What I saw on the whole was a bunch of people in their 30s, high, out of their minds. One woman was wearing a T-shirt that about it was a Magic School Bus, a Magic School Bus T-shirt. This is the reality of the world. This isn't. We're not going to make it. We're not going to make it if this is what's happening. People getting high and glorifying a child's TV show in their mid 30s, mid to early 40s. Yeah. This is what's really going on. So I think we should just let go of the whole thing and start something new, which that's what we're doing. We're trying to, and we're going to do it. And we don't have to participate in that system or the way that it works. But the baby boomers and even Pluto and Virgo as well are glued, because the problem was that they got tricked. I mean, just work, create your savings and then retire.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be happy. But what they found out was they weren't happy while they were doing it. Then they got some money, which isn't really that much.
Mm-hmm.
And now between the Social Security payment, their pension, if they have a pension,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe their 401k, they have just enough to live okay somewhat,
Mm-hmm.
but not like extravagantly. And also, they wasted their whole lives, and they're not happy either.
Right.
Like, oh, fuck, now I'm 65. I'm all fucked up, can't move. And my youth is gone, and I'm stuck with this person I didn't even want to marry. I just did it, but we've been together for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Too late now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. And it's backwards. The goal being money first,
Mm-hmm.
and that once you get the money, then you can be happy.
Yeah.
Or then you can care about other things like love, like joy, aliveness, creativity, new ideas, whatever.
Yeah.
You can do that after you work,
Right.
and after you get the money.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't work that way because you're not creating any causes for those things to grow and flourish in the future. It's just straight up karma.
Right.
I mean, if you spend all your energy on work and money, then that creates a certain result, which is not happiness.
Right.
And people do seem to know that, but not really. It's like they keep doing it no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not like we don't mean to make it sound like it's simple. You just snap your fingers and all of a sudden you don't have to worry about money or care. But what we've been talking about is just the mental attitude.
Right.
And today we've got, this whole week, the astrology's been wild. I don't know how you guys out there are feeling, but there's been some very intense things going on the past week or so. Pluto is making a bunch of conjunctions in Aquarius. So we have Pluto-Mars conjunction for the last few days. Now Venus is still in Capricorn, but it's at 29 degrees right on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So now Venus is 1 degree from Pluto and 3 degrees from Mars. So we've got Venus, Pluto, Mars jammed together. And Venus being in Capricorn still, I think, is even an excellent opportunity to look at the tradition and the old system.
Yeah.
Venus also can represent finances and your values.
Mm-hmm.
So with Pluto and Mars, I think it is the right time for a shakeup and for Mars, courage, risks, fighting, whatever you got to do.
Right.
And I think a lot of the fighting is internal. It's an internal battle. It's a spiritual battle for your own soul.
Right.
Of how much of my mental energy, how much of my emotional energy, how much of my time. And we got offered an opportunity to work pretty much full time, picking up horse poop for like, I don't know, $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Last week. And we just decided there's no way in hell that we're going to do that because it's going to wreck our bodies. I mean, we already take care of 5 horses every day. This would be like an addition to that.
Yeah.
For not very much money.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd be physically wrecked and we'd have no time to do anything that we want to do.
For not that much money.
For not that much money, which is just not worth it.
No.
Are we independently wealthy? No.
No. Newsflash. Here's another newsflash. We're not independently wealthy.
We do not have trust funds.
No.
Or anything like that. We have actually no support from our parents or families in any way. Well,
loving
not
support.
financial support.
So we have the loving support.
We have some loving support.
We have some loving support.
But I don't know. Where am I going with that? Just that it's a choice. And I think that the mental control, it works so well. And the fear.
Right.
It's not that the control system has become financial. It's no longer requiring much force to get people to participate. It's everybody's sucked in and tied into money in every way. And then also to social media and these other things. But I think money is the biggest spell that's been cast on humanity, especially in the West. I mean,
Yeah.
especially in the US.
Right.
And the Pluto and Leo generation, our issue is that they talked a big talk in the 60s and 70s, early 70s, about revolution and change and
smashing the system.
smashing the system, dropping out, all these things, trying to get connected to a spiritual life of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't go anywhere. Everyone went back onto a self-centered path, which is Leo's downside, selfish,
Right.
going to get your own, get your fame,
Mm-hmm.
get your money, get your recognition, keep your own power.
Right.
And Leo is not really known for its humanitarian or altruistic efforts. It can be quite entertaining. There's some really interesting rock stars and other characters.
Jim Morrison was interesting for a while before he died of drugs.
Yeah. But just that the fundamental thing has not changed, and it's gotten worse, really,
mm-hmm.
in terms of being wrapped up in that. So this is just another topic, I think, for the Aquarian shift and what's going to come out. And now we know you're Aquarius rising.
Yes.
Which makes perfect sense, really.
Mm-hmm.
But it took us, I don't know, we were kind of stuck on this, looking at the time. It was like a Taurus rising or Aries rising.
Yeah.
Couldn't quite, neither one really seemed to fit that good. But Aquarius rising does make sense.
It makes sense.
Looking back, and like, what are the first impressions people have of you, the rising sign?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're different.
Yes, that's for sure.
You're not like anybody else.
No.
You're one of a kind.
Me and Harry Houdini, Alfred Hitchcock, Timothy Leary, Galileo in a bobsled. Ram Dass and Katana meditating on the side. That's an explanation.
Yeah.
You figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. We're jumping around. We'll see which thread wants to go further. But I think the thing with the generational stuff is just to have a balance between appreciating what has been done.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen Forrest created an excellent program to train people in the basics of astrology.
Yes. Excellent job.
Great job. We appreciate that.
Yeah, it's helped me quite a bit. That's how I learned about astrology. Thank you.
And then now, what are we doing? What's next?
Right.
What's next? It's from West Wing.
Oh yeah, what's next? Nothing? Okay, get the fuck out of my office. If I could teach the world to be a thug in harmony for the love of money.
Aquarius rising.
I think you should listen to Bone Thugs. I don't know what's your problem. What's wrong with you out there? People with their bullshit mumble rap and fucking crap. It's shit.
I don't even know what's going on.
Something that doesn't suck. Bone Thugs and Harmony. They have like 10 records. They're excellent harmony. It's excellent music. It's just got a very dark vibe. A lot about drugs and killing and money and superficial things. But the harmonies of the songs are excellent. And, they're from Cleveland. They're not, just listen to them. Give them a chance.
Okay, we will. Will you stop talking about it if we agree?
I don't know. I can't guarantee that.
Okay.
Here's the crux of what's happening. I'm 36 and Katana is 42. She's hitting close to having a Uranian opposition. And I'm not even that close to a Uranian opposition or a Pluto square. And I'm basically nuts. I'm like, I can't even go in the store without succumbing to the pain of the energy of the psycho freak women that are dressed in like nuts. Mm-hmm. And we don't know what to do or how to do it. The only thing I know how to do is just be myself. Mm-hmm. I have no other option. But in the system that we live in is controlled. At least it seems like it's controlled by the government and the media. Fucking stupid influencers, celebrities. But that is all, it's going down.
Yeah.
uh, they just don't know. They just don't understand. Everyone is totally obsessed with shit that's not real. We keep talking about it. We say it a lot of times. The second you turn the power off, there is no bank account. There is no bank. There is no anything. The Wi-Fi no longer works. I don't know if you knew this, that the Wi-Fi won't work if there's no electricity. So all these things, the entire Western civilization is built on a facade of a need for either nuclear or coal-based power plants, which are unsustainable. I mean, there's the fact that they've lasted 100 years is a fucking miracle. So all that's going to go down, and then what's left?
Right.
When you're driving your big, huge Jeep with big, huge tires on it, what are you going to do when you go to the gas pump and there's no electricity and you can't pump the gas? You can't physically pump the gas into your big thingy that you're driving around. What are you going to do with it? Where are you going to go? You know, at some point, and I think the point's coming soon, we might have to all look at each other and be like, "Oh shit, we're on Earth. How's it going?
Right.
What are we going to do now?"
Right.
No one is
Right.
helping us. The financial system is a pyramid scheme. The government is also a pyramid scheme. Religions also a pyramid scheme. Our own families also a pyramid scheme. Dear God, what should we do? You know, so we're trying to figure it out. What should we do? I don't know. I don't know what the hell we should do.
Yeah.
All I know, what we should do is be ourselves and do what we love.
Yeah.
That's it. Everyone, right now. If that means wearing a Magic School Bus T-shirt and getting high out of your mind, all right,
On a weekday.
try that.
Yeah.
Give that a shot. I don't know if that's going to help anyone, or if you're going to be able to help me when I'm out there and I need food.
Yeah.
If you're being high out of your mind,
Right.
and trying to nostalgize 1993.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to help me eat food or get the Wi-Fi back on.
Right.
I don't know. Hopefully you've got some technical training on top of that Magic School Bus T-shirt.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe you're a fucking tech genius. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting question, and we've been noticing that we've got listeners now all over the world, literally all over the world. It's really cool. And we don't know who you are out there. And we've been thinking about this, and we really would like to know who you are.
Right. Yeah. So here's the thing. American listeners. All right. Just close your ears for right now. Thank you, America. Oh, great. You're so excellent. I'm so happy to hear you listening in the U.S. What I want to know, I want to know what the hell you're doing in Bali.
Yeah.
Japan. We got a listener in somewhere in India, South America.
Maybe almost every continent.
Almost
now.
every continent
Except
for
Antarctica?
Antarctica and Iceland and Greenland.
Oh, damn.
And I don't think there's any in Russia, but on the edge, there's some in Eastern Europe.
All right.
Obviously, China. China we have no listeners in China.
They will never allow us into China. In no way.
But we want to know what the hell are you got going on? In Australia, in France, in Spain, in Kenya, in Uganda, in Senegal, Panama, in Monterrey, Mexico, in Canada, in the Philippines, in Thailand, in Latvia, in Oslo, Finland. What is going on over there? What is the consciousness in these other areas that are not only 200-year-old ideas of how to have a country? What do you think about what we're saying? Is anything we're saying have any resonance to your way of life? How is it in South America? Do you have to suffer over there?
Yeah.
What about in Thailand, in Philippines? Are you a Filipino right now? What are you doing over there? How does it work? Well, please email us and tell us what it is you've got going on over there. We would like to know, and we're on the cutting edge of technology and consciousness, actually, and we're ready. We're here actually to help and to do whatever we can to bring about a massive shift. You know, they talk about this bullshit on Instagram and conspiracy theories. there's a massive shift in consciousness. We're all going to ascend into 5D consciousness.
Right.
Just waiting for the Pleiadians and the Galactic Council to agree with Joe Biden to drop the grid of the hologram, and then we'll all, that's not really going on. But what is going on is there is a shift in consciousness. Yeah. We're a part of it.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're listening in the Philippines or Australia or any of these other places.
If you're listening, period.
If you're listening, period. Right.
You're part of it.
No discrimination against Americans.
Yeah.
We're Americans.
It's hard for Americans as well. It might even be harder
right.
for Americans to hear what we have to say.
Right.
And to understand a different consciousness.
Right.
Because it's so, everywhere you go in the United States, you can't get away from it.
No.
So it might possibly be easier other places to not be participating in the mainstream way of looking at things. So yes, please send us an email. We will send you a poem.
Yeah,
if you send us an email.
If you send us an email and give us a honest, open response about what you've got going on in your country or just whatever the hell you have to say, I have like 100 or more poems I've already written, and I will send you one immediately as soon as you send me an email about what you got going on, or if you have any questions.
Yes.
Or
ideas.
If you have an idea, if you're sitting on 500 acres somewhere and you don't know what to do with it, and you're like, man, I wish there was two people who could help me with this 500 acre ranch that I don't know what to do with. So here we are. We're here. We're ready to pounce on the new era of consciousness, because the old era is going to fall away.
Yeah.
And the only ones left are going to be, guess what? We're going to be here along with you. So let's just get it on. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go for it.
Yeah.
In a new consciousness. I don't know.
Yeah.
We got a little too excited there.
No, that's perfect. That's beautiful. That is what we're doing, and that is what we care about.
Right.
And we're not, please write to us if you're in the United States. We're just teasing.
Yes.
We would love to hear from you. And then this idea about interviews, we never set out to do interviews, mostly because we get along with each other and we know how to talk to each other, and we get a specific kind of flow going.
Yeah.
The two of us, and it's harder to do. It's not the same.
No, it's not.
We had a good conversation with Stephen, but it's not the same. And also, the other reason is just because most celebrities and, we just don't think they're not that interesting.
No.
What we're really interested in is a good conversation.
Yeah.
But we were thinking about if we got some emails or people start telling us their stories or what they're doing or their ideas, that maybe that would make an interesting interview.
Yeah. I want to know what the hell are you doing in Senegal?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Senegal.
Yeah.
How are you living over there? I would love to talk to you and see what your life is all about, and what you think about consciousness. What do you care about? How do you make it each day? We try to make it each day, and we have difficulties in our American way of doing things. How do you make it out there in the Philippines, or in there are some other ones, Costa Rica? There's all these chains of islands.
Yeah.
We've had some listeners on these chains of islands. What if you live on an island? How is it over there?
Yeah.
We'd love to interview you.
Yeah.
And have an exposure of reality with the consciousness of the place and the consciousness of the person.
Yeah, and obviously there's a unifying factor that if you're listening to this podcast, you're interested in different ideas, and you're interested in meaning.
Right.
And those are the things that we care about and want to know what people are doing, because we do think that there must be, obviously, somewhere, some people that are sharing a similar kind of feeling and intention that we are. So we want to connect with you out there and hear what's going on, especially with what's happening recently. And, speaking of massive shifts, the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction coming up on April 20th, there's a lot of hubbub about that. And, I don't know. My experience has been every time there's one of these things, and then there's all this hubbub, and then astrologers put out workshops, and it's all over social media, and thankfully we're not exposed to all that, but I'm sure that it's going on. And then nothing that much seems to happen.
No.
Like, but maybe it happens personally.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't, I don't know. But with Jupiter, Uranus conjunction in Taurus,
Mm-hmm.
maybe it is going to be about, hey, we're actually here on Earth.
Right.
And we have to live like we're actually on Earth.
Right.
Instead of whatever's going on now. I mean, this morning we went out and let the horses out into the bigger pasture, and they went running into this big space, and they're running around and they're all happy and snorting and their tails are up, and they are not thinking about bank accounts.
No.
And they're living beautifully, perfectly on the earth. How are they doing it?
I don't know. It looks like they're doing it excellently. They're all in fairly good shape.
Yeah, they are.
They don't take baths.
No.
They don't. All they eat is like the same exact thing every day. They have no, they do the same type of thing. That they all take a nap around between 10:30 and 12:30 every day.
Yeah.
They all just lay down together.
Yeah.
Take naps in the sun.
Mm-hmm.
How have they figured it out?
Right.
And we are somewhat, or at least seemingly struggling on Earth to just live on the Earth.
Right.
It's silly, really, actually. And I think that's the thing that is the most helpful to understand, is that it is silly. We should and do know how to live on the Earth. Mm-hmm. We just haven't had a good example for the last few hundreds of thousands of years.
Right. Yeah. And it's interesting now with your second house. Everything is now in the second house,
right,
instead of the 12th. So we've been talking about the second house and what does it mean? And traditionally, it means finances, but it also has to do with resources for survival. Mm-hmm. So we've been just starting to think about what does it mean with you've got all these planets in Aries in the second house, including the North Node and Jupiter and the Sun.
Yeah.
And then you've got Mercury there in Pisces.
Yeah.
But I think this question of how do we live, it does seem to be a second house kind of question.
Yeah.
I mean, the 12th house is more about removing yourself. Mm-hmm. And and then it changed our composite chart a little bit as well.
Right.
So now our composite chart, the sun in Aquarius is in the 12th.
Right.
Which makes sense to us because we do retreat quite a bit as a couple.
Yes.
But individually, no. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the second house being about survival. Maybe part of your role is to help be a leader of how do we actually live? How do we live, especially with the second house being attached to money? Mm-hmm. I mean, in a way, your first reaction was like, I don't care about money. So that doesn't make any sense. And I was like, but that actually could be it.
Right.
I mean, you have a unique perspective.
Yes.
On money, and you also have a unique confidence about survival.
Yeah.
And you got quite a lot of skills as well.
Yes.
That will be helpful if there's no power.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know, what is the seeking Mount Parnassus? What is survival? What does it mean to make it as a human on the earth? And what do we need to do that?
Right.
It seems like it could be a second house question. What resources are needed? Also, networks can be part of that. Connections, skills, assets. Yeah,
just resources in general.
Yeah.
One thing I learned in the Army, and before the Army, really. I mean, I moved out when I was 16. I've been living on my own since then. And one thing I've learned is that there's more to material reality than most people are perceiving. The only difference is there's rules. Like you can't do this, you can't do that. But actually, if you needed to, you can do anything. An example is there's houses everywhere. If you don't have one, you could go inside one and stay there in the night and not die. The only problem is of rules. The person that lives there might not want you to be in there, or whatever.
Yeah.
If you view all of material reality as just how it is, the horse doesn't discriminate
Yeah.
what's on the earth. They smell things, then they bite them, they chew them, and then if it works, okay, this is a plant for me. They're not like, I don't know
who owns this plant.
I'm not sure if I should be here. I'm just gonna go sit down. I'm gonna wait until no one's looking, and then I'm gonna go bite this plant. That's just not
That's true.
how it works. We're able to actually do anything. The only reason we're not able to do it in our human way is because of these rules that there are.
Right.
I mean, there is unlimited amounts of land. That there's plenty of room for everyone to have a little tiny piece and live on there.
Yeah.
There's no fear, really, I don't think, of overpopulation or resources being scarce or anything.
No.
There's plenty of land. There's plenty of people. There's plenty of resources. They just have to be used in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
By people who care about it.
Right.
You know, when you take a little piece and say, this square is mine, everyone else fuck off, you're creating problems that didn't exist before you said that. You know, if land is land, then it's just land that can be used, not used actually, just utilized
or lived with in harmony.
Yeah, like you can do anything you want, but you have to have the consciousness of it. Right. The other thing about the Army, in the infantry, they make you got a lot of things you have to accomplish. And if you go to war, you find out that there's no rules. I mean, sometimes there's no rules. You make the rules. You can drive on the wrong side of the road. You might have to drive on the sidewalk. You might have to smash your Humvee through a wall and then dismount and occupy a building. Now this is your building. I mean, that can always be done. It's just the limiting of consciousness,
right,
of things that stop you from doing things based on rules and the government and decorum and harmony and all that. But in reality, everyone could do anything they choose. It's just the little rules that are stopping them, and the fear of what might happen if you don't do the right things. But it's not the reality of what's going on. There's plenty of room. There's plenty of resources. There's plenty of energy. You just have to mate with it, and then it will work, you know.
I like that. And now we know you have an 8th house moon.
Yes, I do.
And I have an 8th house sun.
Oh, my God.
So merging is something we know a little bit about.
Indeed.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of what we're trying to say about the Pluto and Leo generation is like you're approaching death. That's the facts. And why hold on?
Yeah.
And I think that the problem is the consciousness. It's what I was saying about if you spend your whole life attaching to money and attaching to material things and believing that these things are real, so much so that you're willing to sacrifice your life, which is the only thing we have, for it, it's going to be hard to reverse that momentum. I mean, I think people have this idea that they're going to hit retirement age or something, and then suddenly their life is going to be filled with love, friendship, peace, happiness, all these things. But where are those things going to come from?
Right.
You've got to work for them, and not by making money, but by actually putting energy and effort and mental effort and all of those things into it.
Right.
If it's not a priority, the majority of your life, it's just not going to be there for you.
Correct.
At the end. And the material things don't do it. Sometimes it's just baffling to me how this message is not getting through. Why? Why is it still working? Every wisdom tradition ever in history has said money is not good. It doesn't work.
Right.
You won't be happy. Then there's all these studies that have been done about it by scientists and researchers showing that once you hit a baseline level of survival needs being met, any money beyond that doesn't work. It doesn't increase your happiness in any way.
Right.
Yet it's like lemmings going to the edge with this obsession of money. And I know the argument, I mean, the most common argument is like, well, you got to survive, and how are we going to make it? And how are you going to, but I think that it's backwards. It's like the first thing should be love.
Right.
Love is the priority. Happiness is a priority. Compassion is a priority. Aliveness, these things have to be the priority. Then the ways of surviving will come to you, right? And you will make them happen with the proper flow.
Right.
It doesn't mean there aren't moments where it might be. It's a risk in terms of the traditional system. That would be regarded as a risk.
Right.
Well, you don't know for sure. If you put your effort into this relationship, but what if the relationship fails? Right. Then what will you have? Okay, yeah. But if you don't put your effort into the relationship, it will fail for sure.
Definitely.
So yeah, it's a so-called risk, but so is the money is the biggest risk of all. I mean, how many financial crises have to happen before people start to understand the money is not real? It's not even there. There is nothing there.
No.
It's numbers on a screen, and if something happens, the numbers are gone. That's it. There's no actual money anywhere anymore.
No.
You know all about this with the Federal Reserve.
I mean, even if there was, the governments have proven like thousands of times over that the second there's an actual crisis, they just nationalize pensions. They'll just take your 401k and your pension and they'll nationalize it. So now your 40 years that you spent working your ass off, breaking your body is now the government's.
Right.
And then that won't work either because the money is not real. The whole thing is built on total bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's completely impossible and unsustainable to make it work the way it does. The only way it does work the way it does is because people keep doing it and they keep stealing it. That's it. No other way. If they stop doing that, it would stop working immediately. Tomorrow.
Yeah, and this whole thing about like the Federal Reserve just making money, more money. They're just inventing money.
Yeah.
There's no money. Here's $1 billion. Let's do a bailout for the banks. $1 billion, whatever it was. Where did that money come from? It's not money. It's not real.
No, that's why they can't even call it money. It's called fiat currency. That's why they had to change the name.
Oh.
Money, I think the definition of money is something physical.
Oh.
Like gold. That's why gold was abolished in 1971. Then they changed the name to fiat currency because it's not money. Because there's nothing.
Yeah. It's tied to nothing.
No, it's tied to nothing. It can be unlimitedly created.
Right. Right. So the point being, it's a risk.
Yeah.
It's a big risk.
Huge risk.
To put your whole life into something that's not real. Because not only is it not going to be there when you die, it might not be there when you're alive.
Right.
And there's no way to hold on to it that way. And not only that, even if it is there, you're not happy. It's just so obvious. We live in an area where there's a lot of wealth. Interestingly, that we landed here on our path of like disinvestment. We end up being placed in an area where we're surrounded by wealth.
Yeah.
And you can see it, you can feel it. There's so many houses around Santa Fe area that look abandoned. I don't know if these are like people's second homes or their Airbnbs, or I don't know what's going on, or the people are actually living in them, but they look abandoned because there's no life really going on.
Right.
But there definitely is no love. I mean, you can see if you look at these fancy houses, you can feel it. It feels empty and it feels lonely and sad. And the people feel that way as well. Yeah. And yet it's still, I don't know, just got people under the spell. They're just completely brainwashed. Right. It's like, okay, yeah, but somehow if I get this, I'll be happy. And so then Pluto and Leo, as you're approaching the end, what are you doing? What are you doing with this? Holding on to resources. You own a 300-acre ranch. Says who? What does that mean? Right. If you have no children that want to take it over, which is happening a lot, farming and all this, the younger generations aren't wanting it. Right. What is it that you're doing with this? Is there a legacy? Do you want to preserve what you've done? Do you want to pass it on to the next generation to make something great with it? Or do you want to sell it for a profit when you're 78 years old? And then what are you going to do with the money at that point? You know, you're going to, in your 80s, now you're going to live it up. You know, I mean, you never had an opportunity to.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because it's absurd, but it's also sad to me.
Right.
Because it's so wrong headed, and it's just the wrong answer.
Right.
And it seems so obvious, you know. But like you were saying, okay, if you're out there and you have some kind of resources, like what could be done with it?
Right.
Like, let's think creatively. Let's get we are ideas people. We have lots of ideas.
Right.
And we could come up with, we have come up with many, many different ideas for projects and places and ways to do things and ways to live together with other people and horses and all of these things that could happen so well and so easily with a cooperative mindset and a mindset that was just to just let go of this it's mine. I remember being a kid and just learning about boundaries, like state boundaries, and I always was like, well, where is the line? I don't see it. There's no line.
Right.
I lived in Maryland when I was a kid, and I'd go to camp, and we were constantly hiking across these different state lines: Maryland, Pennsylvania, Delaware. You know, all the small states, and I would just be like, I don't understand. Where's the line?
Right.
Because they're not real. There are no lines.
No.
The earth does not belong to anyone.
No.
And we can be on the earth and belong to the earth anywhere we are. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to have a piece of paper saying that you can be there.
No.
But these are radical ideas. I mean,
I think this is one of the main reasons why we're, the feeling that we have is in the 60s and 70s, there was a shakeup in consciousness, at least supposedly, and nothing happened. Here we are. It's 2024.
Right.
1964, 1974, 84, 94, 2004, 2014, 2024. Nothing happened. Where the consciousness and the way of life has not changed one iota. That's fucked up.
Right.
People on a mass level took their time that they had and they invested it into shit that's not real. And here we are. I mean, I wasn't born until the year 1987. By the year 1987, I don't know. We were on a path. Here we are now, 2024. And now it's up to us. It's up to me and it's up to Katana to shift the whole stern of the ship or the bow. I don't know. I'm reading Moby Dick, trying to learn all the damn words.
Ship terms.
We're trying to turn the ship, but it's been heading towards a peril for a long ass time, and it's not a quick movement. It's a 200-foot boat. It takes a while to turn around, but we have to do it now. We were born on the ship, you know, and we're looking at the crew. You know, the captain's 78, and all the crew is in their 70s, and we're like, what the fuck?
Right.
Who's running this fucking ship? We're born on this ship, and you guys what are you doing? You're just fucking drinking all day, and can't you see we're headed towards absolute destruction, and you're not doing a damn thing except for just having parties on the boat, inviting bands to play on the boat, saving your shit that you found in the sea,
listening to NPR.
Yeah, what the fuck? So it causes us to be like, what happened?
Yeah,
I don't understand what happened. But now it's up to us. It's up to us to take the ship. We're gonna have to have a mutiny. All right, Captain Ahab, thank you. You've done an excellent job, but we're gonna have to tie you up and throw you overboard.
Right.
Sorry. You had 40 fucking years.
Right.
Before we were even alive.
Yeah.
To make some shit go down.
Yeah.
And help.
Yeah.
But you chose not to.
Yeah.
It's not my fault.
No.
I don't want to tie you up. I don't want to do this. I didn't want to put a bag over your head. I don't want this to happen. But what am I supposed to do? I'm on the ship too.
Yeah.
This is a fucking ship. We're all on this damn ship together. Yeah. So if no one's going to be in charge, I guess I'm going to be in charge now.
Right.
By your actions of 40 years,
right.
You've displayed that you don't know how to be captain.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to tie you up and throw you overboard.
Right.
And now I'm the captain of this ship.
Right.
Guess what? First rule on the ship: turn the fucking ship around. And we're all doing it together. There's no more parties. We're not having any parties till this ship is turned in the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Until then, we're doing some actual shit, and it's going to be difficult, but it's going to be easy because we're going to do it together, and we're all going to participate. There's not going to be some people just fucking laying around.
Right.
We're all going to jump on board. We're all going to be on deck. No, there's not going to be no one sleeping. We're all going to do it, and we're going to turn it around, and we're going to make it happen, with or without you. If you're 78 years old right now and you're sitting on a 5,000 acre fucking ranch in a 6,000 square foot house with a 2,000 square foot guest house and a 1,000 square foot guest house, and you have a gardener, a maid, a butler, a private jet flyer. Just give that shit away to someone that can use
that has a vision.
That has a vision. You're gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
Give it up. Let go.
Yeah.
Dear God.
Yeah.
It's not gonna matter.
No.
Really soon, you're gonna die, and it's gonna be all over. And someone is gonna have to go to the fucking ranch and take over the thing anyway, regardless of what you think.
Right.
Someone is gonna have to take care of it. Care of it.
Right. Beautiful. Excellent speech.
Thank you.
I get goosebumps.
Oh yeah.
I've been waiting for someone like you, actually.
If I could teach the world to be a thug in harmony. Just be a thugsta, just like me. That song was written in like the 90s. What's happened? Come on.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I think the Mars and Pluto together right now in Aquarius is that kind of energy.
Right.
It's action and decisiveness and assertiveness. I think that is the thing. And there is some obvious, it happens with every generation,
right,
et cetera. But I think that is with this shift with Aquarius energy coming in and our generation being like, we're ready to go. But I think that the difference is that this generation of Pluto and Leo won't stop.
Right.
Every other generation before them is like 60s, they're done.
Right.
This generation is like the eternally young in their minds generation, and we're never going to stop. And we can, what were you saying? 50 is the new, or 70 is the new 50.
Yeah.
No,
it's not true.
It's not.
If you're 70, you cannot wear tight jeans. You can't wear skate shoes if you're 70, unless you can skate.
If you can skate.
If you're Tony Hawk, or Bob Burnquist, or fucking lead singer of U.S. Bombs, Dwayne Peters, the Master of Disaster. Yes, you should wear Vans and you should skate.
Yeah.
If not, if you can't skate, fucking throw those away and put on some loafers. Put on some white New Balance.
Some slippers.
And get with the program.
Yeah, give somebody else a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in every arena, and I've seen it in nonprofits too. That I still do some consulting with nonprofits mostly in the food and farming world, and there's old people in that world as well that just won't let go. It's like clearly the people that are younger are the ones that know what's going on.
Right.
They're the ones that have the ideas. They're the ones that are bringing the energy and are actually carrying out the work.
Right.
But the old people that are in the so-called leadership positions mostly are slowing things down, you know?
Sending emails to the wrong people,
Right.
not knowing how to turn the fucking computer on, trying to use a landline during a Zoom call, all that, just fucking lay down. Go watch The Price is Right. That's why there is The Price is Right. Go sit down and watch The Price is Right, and wait for the mail to come, and just do that until death. Right. Or if you got something going on, give it away to someone that
Yes.
is smart.
Yes.
If you have a big fucking farm, give it to someone.
Yes. Go try Willy Wonka.
Right.
Try to find someone that has values and a vision and give it to them. That'll generate some good karma for you at the end.
Right.
Maybe you haven't spent enough of your time and your resources generating good karma.
Right.
Now's an excellent time to do something before you leave. I mean, it's funny because these are things we're not allowed to say. Now we're age discriminators or something. But it's just a fact, and it's true. And we keep seeing it over and over again.
Right.
That despite whatever people tell themselves,
mm-hmm.
there's like just an inability to think into the future at a certain point.
Right.
And I think that may just be a natural thing.
Mm-hmm.
But what should be happening is that the old people should be helping
mm-hmm.
the younger people.
Yeah, the chief should be telling the 20-year-old how to fucking be a leader.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be
trying to hold on to the leadership.
No.
I mean, that is missing. And I think part of the problem is because Pluto and Leo, with this idea of eternal youth,
mm-hmm.
they have not stepped into the Senex, the
Right.
wise elder, the Capricorn,
Right.
the high vibration of Capricorn, the wise elder.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the wise elders?
Right.
They are not really around.
No.
I mean, there's maybe a few, but even the ones that I have seen mostly are still trying to hold on.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to make money still. They're trying to hold on to their own possessions.
Mm-hmm.
It's egocentric a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you listeners know of good examples, please share them.
Yeah,
But-
if you are a good example.
Yeah, maybe you are. Maybe you are an older generation and you care
Mm-hmm.
about what's coming next and you support younger people and you're trying to help
Mm-hmm.
instead of just holding on to what you have selfishly
Mm-hmm.
until the end and then not contributing anything to the future.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I just feel like what I would like to do at that point in my life, if I make it, is to turn to the next group coming up
Mm-hmm.
and say, how can I help you? I mean, we're already doing that
Mm-hmm.
with people younger than us
Right.
of, okay, you want to be on a spiritual path. You want to get out of the system. You're feeling alone and isolated. No one understands you. Talk to us.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
We understand. We support you.
Right.
How can we help you? Here's what we know.
Right.
So that should be happening, and it's not.
Right.
And I think that the only thing that generation has done is generate wealth or accumulate money,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're going to pass that on maybe to their own children if they have any.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it just lacks vision, and it lacks compassion.
And it lacks reality
Yeah.
of the system.
Yeah.
The even if you give all your money to
Yeah.
your child,
Right.
that money, just like what would happen to you, is
Yeah.
not going to be worth shit. It's not real.
Right. And money by itself is nothing.
Right.
I mean, it's not, if you don't have ideas,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have a vision, you don't have values, you don't know what's important,
Mm-hmm.
you can have all the money in the world and you're going to become a movie star. I mean, look at those people.
Mm-hmm.
They clearly don't have the answer. They have money,
Mm-hmm.
but what are they doing with it? Majority of them, nothing. Self-indulgence to the max,
Mm-hmm.
which is a Leo problem as well,
Mm-hmm.
and is what happened in the
Right.
70s. Let's just do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah.
Whatever feels good,
Mhm.
do it. How is that helping other people
Right.
or your own children even?
Mm-hmm.
If you want happiness, then you have to make the causes of happiness. This is the basic Buddhist truth.
Right.
So the causes of happiness are compassion, altruism, love, service, connection,
Mm-hmm.
joy, those are causes of happiness. Money, material, wealth, status, power, followers. I'm sorry, but these will not work to make you happy.
It's the truth. We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of the dreams, says my good pal who loves purple.
Mm.
Thank you. I don't know. I fucked it up.
You didn't fuck it up. I just wasn't sure. Like, should we stop there? Because that seems like an excellent ending.
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
I think you should listen to this podcast if you're 78 years old. I think you should tell your 78-year-old friends to give away their ranch.
Yeah.
You should email us if you're in Panama. Our email address is seekingmountparnassus@gmail.com. Go to our website, seekingmountparnassus.com. You can contact us there. Go to lwltw.com, which is just a redirect to seekingmountparnassus.com. You can listen to us on Spotify, on Fountain. Try something new out there, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, talk about forever young, or talk about, if you got all this energy and you're in your 70s, wouldn't it be cool to get together with some other people and actually support a cool project or something for the future? Try a different way.
Right.
I mean, it's sad and disappointing to me to see everybody just acquiescing to this whole thing. It's you're going to die alone in your giant house, and why?
Right.
It didn't have to be like that.
No.
And maybe there's still time. I don't know. People get involved with something for the future, or something to help other people. That will make you happy.
Right. Definitely.
And we have energy and we have ideas.
We do.
So we can contribute those things. We have various skills as well. But I think that the things that are the most important or the most universal are the ideas and the energy.
If I could teach the world to be a thug in harmony.
When you started singing that, I thought you were going to sing, if I could teach the world to sing in perfect harmony.
Oh.
You know that song? It's like a kid song.
Oh, no, I don't.
Maybe that's where they got it from.
Maybe, yeah. They probably did, yeah.
Or, we are the world. Speaking of the 80s. We are the children.
Yeah, if you're Mick Jagger, Elton John, Michael Jackson, Madonna, Bono, and Prince, give up your ranch.
Yeah.
To someone who can use it. The earth is still going to keep going on. We're going to keep on being on it. And it's going to be an excellent future. And you can participate from another realm, especially if you generated excellent karma and merit.
Right.
So might as well just go for it. Just do it. What's stopping you? You could be a thugsta just like me if you wanted to. And I think you should try. And I think I've said this maybe 100 times already. Just do it.
Yeah.
Just go for it.
Yeah.
You can do it. I know you can do it. And I know that the future is going to be excellent, especially since we're all going to be together.
Soha.
So